Hello and welcome on into another Renegades Sports Podcast episode. A little bit of a different setup here. Jake Gable, Jacob Smedley. We're sitting side by side today because for the start of this podcast, we're going to be making an NFL tier list.
Yeah, Jake, you'll see it right here on the screen in just a moment, but we're going to be into 5 tiers for NFL teams, Super Bowl contenders, division contenders, playoff hopefuls, below 500, and first round pick hopefuls. Jake, without further ado, let's get started here.
All right, man. So we've got...
Oh, man.
All right. So
okay.
I think the easiest way to go about this is take the obvious ones out. Let's get the Super Bowl contenders up top, first pick hopefuls at the bottom, and then dice out the ones in between. So I think an obvious Super Bowl contender is the Chiefs.
I think we should put those.
Agreement?
Yeah. There we go. Yeah,
put them right at the top. Interesting to see how much we debate some of this. I'm looking at the bottom, and I see the Panthers.
That's first round pick hopefuls.
Yeah.
There.
First overall pick.
First overall pick. Yeah, first pick.
All right.
Giants, can we agree on first pick of hopefuls as well? The way things are going. Danny Dimes and company, just a terrible start to the year.
I'm nervous to name other Super Bowl contenders. I mean,
49ers, you think? I think, would you say, that contender? I mean, what they've showed us over the past few seasons, made it there against the Chiefs last year. I think, they figured out the Ayuk situation. He's back.
Yeah, that's fair. How about the Commanders? Are they first pick hopefuls, or do you see them below 500?
I don't know. I think the Giants and the Panthers are the two, leaders for that first overall pick. I think the Commanders will have a top 10 pick, but I'd be willing to put them in that below 500 just because of how I think Jaden Daniels could do as a rookie quarterback. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, Jake. That's tough, though.
They're better than the two teams we just put up.
Yeah.
Are they better than the Giants? I think they're better than the Giants.
I think so.
But they're not like a crazy tier above the Giants.
So I'd see that. Yeah. Depends on how you define below 500. Are we talking about I think it's 4 and I know
I say
4 wins, 5 wins.
I think first pick hopefuls are 5 wins and less.
Okay.
And I think 8 wins to 6 wins are your below 500 teams.
Gotcha. Okay.
So last year, the Commanders obviously would have been a first pick hopeful, but who was an average team? The Bengals ended up in that middle tier.
Yeah. Okay.
Below 500.
You've convinced me. Yeah, I think so. You're thinking 5 wins for them. That's what you're feeling in that kind of criteria that you laid out. I think they could get 6.
Defense.
Yeah.
Bad defense.
Yeah. I'm just a believer in Jaden Daniels.
That's the Commanders.
I'm looking at the teams, right? Do you think the Raiders are below the Commanders? That's a team.
The Broncos. The Broncos. I'd put them in the first pick hopeful.
Yeah, I think I'd put them there.
I'm
confident. All
right.
Put them there. I'm thinking 4 or 5 wins for them.
Raiders are definitely with the commies. I think they're pretty It's almost like if we made a tier in between, it's they're bad, but they could be not as bad.
Yeah. Another team that I went to immediately is the Cardinals because they were another team. They were top 10. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. But I think they could be in that below 500 above them.
I think they are a tier above the teams we've listed.
Commanders and Raiders.
Cardinals, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good barometer.
Yeah.
Are you Cardinals level?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think the Raiders are Cardinals level.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Are they fighting for that first pick? They might be.
Yeah. The whole quarterback for me. I mean, I know it's the most important position. I mean, there has been questions recently about Antonio Pierce, what he's doing at the head coaching spot, the decisions that he's made. Kind of wait and see.
I
But
am so sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I can't believe we haven't named this team yet. The Patriots.
oh yes,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Oh
They're
man.
worse than the Broncos, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat
Worse
the
for the-
Bengals
yeah.
somehow, some way. I don't know how they did that, but there's no way they continued that success.
I would say Commanders and Raiders. I don't know if you go off a track record from last year with the Raiders, because I think the Raiders were better than the Commanders last year.
Totally.
So
All
does that earn below 500, or is that off of 1 week this season or multiple weeks now?
I think these are the two teams that, like, every team will be at least below 500 or above throughout this. We're just stuck on these. So, do we put them both in that bottom tier for now?
Let's put them there.
Yeah.
Let's put them there. We'll go back to it. We'll go through some of these.
Because you know what? If we haven't even mentioned other teams yet, it feels like they're a tier below.
Yeah.
All right. A team I just saw that I think is low is the Titans.
Titans, yeah.
I think they're below 500. I don't think they're a first pick hopeful type team.
They have some talent on that team.
Yeah,
both sides.
They have some upside. If Will Levis starts showing flashes,
I would put them there, and then I think we
500?
should start kind of putting, and then we can like mix around, see where, kind of gauge some things here.
All right, do we want to get some top teams out of the way again?
I think
or?
now another
Starting to
team
merge
for Super Bowl contenders. Do you think we should put the Ravens up?
I do think we should.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. I mean, they were right there with Kansas City last season. I mean, they battled it out in the first game of the season. I think they should be considered a Super Bowl contender.
I agree. I think we've only got room for like 2 more top Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
Looking at the list remaining, I don't have the Bills there.
Don't have the Bills. I see that. I think they're still a division contender, but Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Are we comfortable putting them division contender right now?
I'm comfortable putting the Bills division contenders right now.
I agree. Looking at, is there anyone that? I mean, I'm biased here. We're both biased here. Are Eagles Super Bowl contender level, or are they division? There's no way they're below those top 2 teams.
I know, yeah. Do you want to put them in division contenders right now, and we can see? Because that for me is kind of I'm thinking of it as an exclusive list right now, kind of because that division contenders, that's a team that's going to get 10, 11 wins. They're going to win the division, but the playoffs is kind of unknown, either because of track record, either because of team questions. But that's Super Bowl contenders. They've been in the conference championship game, or either been knocking on the door of that for the past 2-3 years, and the Chiefs are in the class by themselves. I'm thinking they're another like tier that we could make. Another team I'm looking at in the AFC in that division contenders is the Texans, with all of the talent that they have. Are they a Super Bowl contender, though?
Another team, too. The Lions we haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay. Eagles, Texans, Lions right now. Are any of them in the same tier with the Ravens? Or are they worse? Because I think we have them in order right now of Chiefs 1, Niners 2, Ravens 3.
Yeah.
Like, is there a team that's on that level, or are they on that division contender?
Now, I don't know if this is just like conference biased here, but I'm putting my chips in on the Texans. I think with the talent that they have on offense and defense, I'd be willing to put them at that 4. And the Eagles and the Lions as divisional contenders. The Lions are in a tough division with the Packers, with the Vikings.
Texans above those.
I don't know. I'm trying to think it through. The Eagles have a lot of defensive questions. The Lions, are they going to be able to put it all together again? They have talent on both sides of the ball, but I really like what the Texans did in the offseason. Or, I mean, Do you think the Eagles or Lions, either one of them has really stood out? I mean, the Lions, I think, are the other one. I mean, I could see the argument. The Eagles, again, the whole defense and the going off of last season, I feel like division contenders is a safe place to put them at this moment. I could see the Lions, though. They made it going with all of the championship game teams from last year. I'm safe putting them there.
All right. Eagles in division.
Yes, I think we agree on that, right? I mean, they got to prove
they Super Bowl contenders, but I'll settle for now.
Yes,
I'll settle for now.
After last season,
remember my list.
Oh, okay.
I would have had the Eagles there. All right, Lions Texans. Are we keeping it a? Whoa, what?
I think I've kind of switched the line. Those two teams, one's in division contenders, one's in the Super Bowl.
Which one?
What are you thinking?
I have the Lions above the Texans.
I'll agree. You let me put the Eagles down in division contenders. I will let you move the Lions into that.
I think this is the last team in that Super Bowl contender.
And then
Texans here.
Yes.
I think it's fair because you know what? We have 4 teams, and there's 2 from each conference there.
There we go.
If we add the Texans and then we'd have 3 teams, and it's like one of these teams aren't even going to make the conference championship.
Yeah.
Like, can we really call them Super Bowl contenders? So I think it's fair. I think the Texans totally could beat the Ravens, but I think right now I'm happy.
It's safe. Yeah.
I'm happy. All right.
Okay.
I will say, if we're mentioning the Eagles, I think we have to mention the Cowboys as a division contender.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to put them at.
They're going to make the wild card. Whoever out of the NFC East of the Eagles and Cowboys doesn't win it is going to get that wild card.
Yeah. I think one team, though, I'm now going back to the bottom of it. I saw the Pittsburgh Steelers as that in that below 500. I don't think they're going to be battling with the first round pick. Do you think they're going to be a playoff hopeful? They're in a tough division, and I'm not sold on their offense. Their defense is going to be phenomenal and will probably win them some games, but should we put them in playoff hopefuls, though?
I think we have to put them in hopefuls. I think they're the worst playoff hopeful.
Okay.
But
that's on the fringe. That's right on the line.
Has never had a below 500 season. And
okay.
The tier is literally named below 500.
Okay. All right.
So
how long can he keep this up, though, I guess, is my question with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson with that unknown, I guess.
The defense is Super Bowl contender level defense.
That's true. Okay.
If they just get average offense.
Yeah. All right. That's, again, one of those borderline teams there where it's like...
Because I think a playoff hopeful can go below 500, but they'll win like 8 games.
Yeah, there's a range here. There's a range, yeah.
I mean, sometimes you see teams like 9-8, 8-9 make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I don't see the Steelers winning 6 games. No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Falcons is another playoff. I mean, they're...
Yeah, I think that's fair. In the
playoff hopeful.
They should win their division, but the Bucs are pretty good.
You mentioned the Bucs. Should we put them as...
I think they're right with them.
Yeah. Should we put the Bucs as playoff hopefuls or division contenders? Because you have both of them going for the division.
By definition, I know that division contenders should technically have one of their division mates in there.
Yeah.
But out of Buccaneers, Falcons, whoever doesn't win the division, I'm not guaranteeing they would get a wild card. You know?
Yeah, that's
like when
true.
we were talking Eagles, Cowboys, I was like, guaranteed the other one's a wild card.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other one, it could be like, all right, you won the division, you're like, you miss.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like division contenders also like buy contenders.
I see that. Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So I feel good about that.
Okay.
I'm looking at the Bengals right now. Are they a contender or are they a hopeful? Because after week 1,
and there is recency bias though with that.
Recency bias.
They are historically bad in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah. Coming into the season, if no game was played, I would have put them in division contender. So do I let one game sway me? But I don't know where you would have put them.
I
into
think
the
they're
season.
in division contenders
Okay.
for me because of Joe Burrow. It seems like Jamar Chase, he still hasn't got paid, but right now he's still on the team. I need a larger sample size for me before I put them down in the same category with the Falcons, the Bucks, and the Steelers. That is my perception right now.
I agree. Let's add some more playoff hopefuls. Or actually, I'm looking at a team like the Packers.
Playoff hope.
No, but are they division contenders?
That's a good question. That is a good question. I
think they
mean,
might
Love.
be.
I think you should put that. I think they should be divisional contenders because we should.
Love, though.
The injury, yes, but I think we should treat it as
Ooh.
all factors kind of being equal at this point. When he's healthy, they're a divisional contender.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about Tua and the Dolphins too going on too, because let's pretend those guys were out for the year. I don't think either of them will be. I mean, maybe Tua, but I think that instantly takes both of those teams below 500. But if they're healthy, I think they're both division. So Packers division.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I think the division contenders is getting crowded. I think we're hitting a cap limit soon.
Yeah, I think out of those teams, though, I feel like we only have one or two more. I'm looking because a lot of those are kind of on that playoff hopeful below 500 fringe. I mean, you got the Bears, Browns, Colts. I mean, a lot of these teams could be that second place team, but I don't know. I feel like there's a gap between the top team.
So are we done with division contenders? I see the only ones I'm considering, and I'm not even saying they should be, just like even in consideration, the Rams, the Dolphins, the Jets, and maybe the Colts.
Yeah.
But do any of those names stand out to me? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, the Dolphins have the defensive questions. The Jets, I mean, it's all about defense and Tua questions. The Jets, their defense should be lights out, but it's the offense. What are you going to get out of Aaron Rodgers? And, I mean, the Colts love Anthony Richardson.
I really like the Colts, man.
Yeah.
They're my dark horse. Not for like a Super Bowl, but for a good run.
Division, yeah, great game against the Texans, the first game of the season. I would put...
We're putting all four of those hopefuls?
I think so. I think we have to make that call. I mean, yeah, the only one I think I'd be willing right now is the Colts. Made the postseason. I mean, the Dolphins did as well, but just more optimistic about the Colts. But I think it's safe to put those teams in there. The Jets as well.
All right.
Down to the final seven.
Seven.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we need to add more to the below 500 group.
Mm-hmm.
And out of this group, I think the Saints scream below 500 to me.
Yeah, Derek Carr. I mean, they had a big week, but it was against the Panthers, a team that
should
get the number one pick.
Put in first.
Yeah.
Hopeful. Another team I see as the worst team on this list now with the Saints gone is another team that had a big week one, but the Vikings. They played the Giants.
Sam Darnold. How long can Sam Darnold go throughout the season? Not playing the Giants against tougher defenses.
They're not making the playoffs with Sam Darnold as their quarterback.
Are
they? They didn't even make it last year.
Mm-hmm. I think they're at the best right now, third in their division.
Yeah, they're clearly below Lions. They could be below the Bears. They could be below the Bears.
Exactly. Yeah, at best. I'm saying at best. If things break their way, they could finish third. But I'm below 500. Is there one left? Because I feel like I'm looking at the Bears, I'm looking at the Browns as those two teams could be playoff hopefuls.
Yeah.
The Jags.
I think they could be a hope. Okay.
The Seahawks, though, might scream below 500 for me. I mean, I like their defense, but I mean, they are almost like the Steelers of the NFC, where they have that consistency. They have that, it seems like every year they're winning 9-10 games, and they're right in that postseason. But Geno Smith's getting older. I mean, you're relying on more young guys offensively. They're again one team that's right on the line. I think where things break wrong, they could finish below 500.
Right.
So it's a bold take.
I see it. I see it.
Chargers too.
That's the one that.
Chargers.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they're worse than the Seahawks.
Okay. Yeah.
They have no weapons. It's Justin Herbert and who?
Yeah.
I mean,
J.K. Dobbins has played well, but I mean, how long are you going to run that ship out?
Yeah,
and your rookies too.
They'll get destroyed by contenders,
Yeah.
All right. Bears, Browns, Jags. Who's your vote for the worst one out of this list? I have mine.
Oh man, I'm high on the Bears. Their defense I'm high on. Their offense I believe will come around at some point. Caleb Williams has just got to get his experience, got to get his rapport with his receivers. So it comes down to the Browns and the Jags, and the Jags I think have more questions on both sides of the ball. So I'm going to put them lower than the Browns. I know Deshaun Watson is bad, but that Browns defense is really good. And I know they had a stinker against the Cowboys in week 1, but again, the Cowboys have a good offense. Are you putting the Jags above the Browns?
I think the Jags are the best team on this list, right?
Okay.
Remaining.
Why? I want to hear your reasoning here.
Because they have an underrated defense led by Josh Hines Allen.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence, I know he's very average, but the leap could be there. And it doesn't even have to be, Josh Allen level leap of top.
But what weapons does he have? We were just talking about
Sorry.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk.
Okay.
Brian Thomas, I think
he's
going
good.
to be good.
Yes.
Gabe Davis is there now. Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne.
Okay.
I think they have the weapons on offense.
Would you take that against what the Bears have? With Swift, with Cole Kmet, with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore?
Here's the thing. I think the Bears have a higher ceiling.
Okay.
But
I'm a ceilings guy. That's what I'm going.
Will Caleb bring them to the playoffs in his rookie year?
Playoff hopefuls. We're not guaranteeing playoffs at all. I think that they could be in the contention, though, for the wild card to the very end, though. All right. Do you want to? Because I can agree the worst offense out of the 3 is the Browns.
Yeah.
Will that hold? I think I am willing to lean the defense almost like the Steelers in that way. They're a worse version of the Steelers if the offense doesn't come around, if Chubb does not come back into form to help out Watson and this mismangled quarterback position.
If we put the Steelers in the playoff hopefuls, do the Browns deserve that same treatment? Because I think the Browns defense might even be better than the Steelers.
But the thing is we're really coming down to these final 3. But going back on the ceiling, do you think that the Steelers' offense's ceiling is higher than the Browns right now, who have Amari Cooper, David Njoku's out, Nick Chubb is out. I mean, Jerome Ford's in there. I think their line's good, but just Deshaun Watson
I think they're both terrible.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that's, I think, what we're separating, because they're both good defenses. I mean, right now, we're kind of thinking the Steelers is a bit better.
I look at them the same. I think they're the same.
They're right on that edge. They're right on that.
I'm sort of coming around to, let me know. I think we can't differentiate these 3. I think we stick them all in the same tier of playoff hopeful.
We can't. Okay.
Is that okay? I say we do that.
Yeah.
We name where everyone is.
Okay.
And we're like, if that's wrong,
then we're wrong. Then you're at home wrong. That's what we're gonna say. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with.
Okay, and
Sticking with it. A lot of playoff hopefuls.
just because we've taken a lot of time to debate, these are not in the order of left to right,
Yeah.
good to bad. Like
we would move, the Eagles, Texans up there, I would say,
like,
move around.
The Dolphins are better than the Steelers.
Yeah,
the Rams are better than the Steelers. So it's just what tier they're in. The order doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take the first tier. You can take the next.
Okay.
Chiefs, Niners, Ravens, Lions. That feels like a Super Bowl contending.
Mm-hmm.
That was literally the championship
game from last year. Yeah.
I think it's solid.
Yeah.
No complaints.
No complaints either. Of course, we kind of debated that fourth team.
Yeah, we did.
And in those division contenders, we have the Bills, we have the Eagles, we have the Texans, the Cowboys, the Bengals, and the Packers. Two teams that have dealt with injuries sneaking in there, but I think are talented enough to be in that contention.
I'm not going to drop them down, but I will say, yeah, the Bengals and Packers are definitely on the fringe of that.
Yeah, they were on that line from playoff hopefuls to division contenders. We had some teams on that hypothetical line.
I think those are the two teams that could actually miss the playoffs that are in division contenders if things go really bad.
Yeah.
But, all right, playoff hopefuls, our biggest tier, but I think it should be the biggest tier.
Yeah.
It's average.
Yeah.
Steelers, a lot of debate about that. Falcons, Buccaneers, Colts, Rams, Dolphins, Jets, Bears, Browns, Jags. It's a lot of teams, but I don't think any of the teams I just named are just like, they are so much worse than like the rest of the pack or so much better than the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I think that there's a clear separation between the contenders and the hopefuls based on track record, based on talent on both sides of the ball. And there are more questions in that middle group. Some teams could overperform, and we could be talking at the end of the season in that division contenders, but there's also ones that, one or two things go wrong, and they're in that tier below. In that below 500 tier, going right to it, got the Cardinals, Titans, Saints, Vikings, Seahawks, and Chargers, teams that really one side of the ball have a lot of questions with them, or they just got out of that first pick hopefuls. They're moving in that playoff hopeful, but still need to answer some questions.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to move them, but I think if any team deserves to be moved up, it would be the Seahawks out of there. I think they're the best one in that group, but I mean, it's a full playoff hopeful list right now. And then our last group, teams no one's expecting to make the playoffs: Panthers, Giants, Broncos, Patriots. Raiders and Commanders, we were iffy about. I think the first four we listed are definitely in that first pick hopeful group. But all in all, I like the list.
I like the list too, Jake. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on this list. Would you change anything?
I'm sure it's perfect for everyone. And no one has any complaints, especially if we put your team in a tier you don't like.
Yeah. That's all the time we have for this episode of the Renegades Sports Podcast. Let us know your thoughts on this tier list. Did we get them all right? I'm sure that we did. Let us know in the comments below.
Definitely no.
No changes.
Yeah, no changes from no one. If your team was mentioned in the tier below where you would put it, you are fine with it, and you understand, and you won't hate us.
Yeah. Well, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon as well to be notified every time that we have a video coming out. We have a lot of ideas, and we'll be coming out soon.
Yeah, and shorts. Stay tuned on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We've been making shorts. We've been making exclusive content for those, and they've been a lot of fun. We've got some more fun ones coming out for you. So make sure you follow them and like them and watch them.
For the Double Jakes, he's Jake Gable. I'm Jacob Smedley. Thanks for watching another episode of the Renegades Sports Podcast.